My name is. What? My name is. Who? My name is.
This is gonna be New Yorkers.
Cuéntame, ¿tienen que sacar la comida de la basura?
Y tenemos hambre, tenemos goma, uno ahora lo saca en esta mierda.
Hay que cambiar de presidente, jefe, porque no podemos vivir así.
Pero esto es basura.
De basura, por lo mismo, como estamos en la situación que estamos, imagínese usted, no podemos andar así. Tenemos que sacar al presidente y lo queremos sacar. Somos gente de la calle, pero queremos sacar al presidente. Lo queremos sacar. No podemos ir más así comiendo la basura. Voy para 36 años y primera vez en mi vida que yo hago esto por mis hijos y por mí. ¿Ves?
¿Cada cuándo tienen que hacer esto?
Todos los días. Porque ahorita un sueldo no alcanza para nada.
This is sad. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is communism and this is socialism, y'all. This is communism and this is socialism, people. Open your eyes. Open your eyes.
De 36 años otra vez se lo repito, que yo en mi vida, primera vez en mi vida con este gobierno de que no como la basura, de la basura. Primera vez en mi vida. Mi nombre es Jesús y para que lo manden para YouTube, para Instagram, para donde sea. Pero no podemos seguir más en esto. Esto es una cosa que no podemos.
¿Qué le quisiera decir a Maduro?
Óchale, Maduro, acuérdate que Venezuela es bonita y Venezuela somos todos. Aquí no... Presidente, me disculpa, pero usted como presidente no sirve. Soy padre de familia, tengo casa, pero usted como presidente no sirve. Somos de la calle, pero usted no sirve. Quiero que se vaya del país, porque no sirve. Estamos obstinados de este presidente que tenemos aquí en Venezuela. Son 20 años.
Now, I don't know what he's saying, but I'm assuming he ain't happy with his government, with his socialist government. So I don't know what he's saying, but I'm just assuming by his body language and by everything that's going on right now that I'm watching that he ain't happy.
Each day at dusk, the unemployed converge on this sidewalk trash heap in downtown Caracas, picking through rotten fruit and vegetables tossed out by nearby shops. But it's not just the jobless that search through garbage for food. They're joined by many who still consider themselves part of Venezuela's middle class, even though their living standards have long declined, pulverized by triple-digit inflation, food shortages, and a collapsing currency. 19-year-old Josriana Capote comes to this trash heap to help supplement her pantry. She recently completed an internship with Coca-Cola.
In Venezuela, the situation is very difficult. Before, you could get food, but not now. You wait for hours in the line and you don't get anything. So it leads us to come here to see if we can get even a small quantity to be able to eat.
While some come to the trash piles to eat, many more seek the opportunity to earn some cash during tough times, reselling passable produce. Venezuela's poverty had eased under the rule of the late President Hugo Chavez, but it's once again on the rise, and so-called dumpster diving has grown to be a common practice.
I'm doing this due to the need we are facing in our country. Never, not ever, was this seen before. When Chavez was alive, we had never seen this need that we're going through. We go hungry.
Nearly half of Venezuelans say they can no longer afford to eat 3 meals a day. While the government blames political opposition of waging an economic war, those caught in the crossfire do what they can to make ends meet. Noreen Nasser, Associated Press.
Even in the driving rain, Venezuelans started their day in search of food, expecting to see the usual grim queues that form at government stores. Not today. The only stores with affordable food are shut, closed for the National Workers' Holiday, the sign explains. It says sorry and thank you. People walked away empty-handed but full of dread, wondering where their next meal might come from. I asked Julian Perez what he needs.
All the basics. I have nothing at home. Sometimes I go hungry. Who can say that we, the people, aren't hungry right now?
And here's the thing. These people aren't allowed to come back tomorrow. Food is rationed here, doled out according to the last number on your government ID. Carlos Chirinos explains his turn is today. His number is 5.
I'm speechless, man. Like I haven't. There's no words. I have no words to say, man. I just like this. This is crazy, and this is what y'all voting for in New York. This is what you ushering into New York, and this is what you want to bring to the United States.
Cinco.
Hoy me toca a mí. Me
Cinco.
toca hoy y el miércoles.
And miércoles. So he's saying that just today and Wednesday can he buy things, and because it's closed today, he's out of luck. Paola. So too is Lady Snanes. With 2 children and one on the way, she is raising her kids with no food in her cupboards and barely any in the fridge. Venezuela is sitting on the world's largest proven oil reserves, but it can't stock the nation's refrigerators. This is all I have, she tells me, as I ask about milk. When I find it, she says, they have milk. And even at 6 months pregnant, sometimes with a child on each hand, she lines up for as many as 18 hours to find anything to eat. Janet de Bolivar shows us all she has, too. She says it took her 3 weeks of queuing to stock this much, a shop that would have normally taken about an hour. This is not the worst of it for this family. Janet introduces us to her daughter Yazde, who explains the country is out of medicine, too. And there's no line you can wait in for that.
Cancer waits for no one. I'm worried about my own health and the health of so many others who are going through this right now.
Yazde is holding unfilled prescriptions for chemo. And she says no doctor, no hospital can tell her when she'll get treatment.
It pains me to see Venezuela in the state that it's in right now. But what really makes my heart ache is the thought of not being here for my daughter tomorrow.
3 generations of Bolivars are counting on things to change in Venezuela. But like so many on this day, they cling to patience, hope, and very little else.
And this is what y'all want to bring to our country. Stop it, people. Stop it.
I'm Dagan McDowell, along with my exceptional co-host, and with us for this hour, Fox News contributor, DeRoy Murdoch.
Amazing. Great to see you guys.
Zoran Mondani making his socialist dreams a reality in New York City. Mondani locking in an 11th hour deal on his record $126 billion budget that delivers government handouts, puts the city on the verge of a fiscal crisis, and gives nothing, nada niente, to law enforcement.
If these past months have shown us anything, it is that socialists not only understand economics just as well as the capitalists who came before, but that we can solve their years of mismanagement through an embrace of our principles. We will return to this budget as a reminder of how much more is made possible when we shake off the shackles of the status quo and pursue the transformative change that New Yorkers deserve. That means finding efficiencies, it means cutting waste, and it means taxing the rich.
The rest of the country.
It's too laughable. It's just.
Yo, they laughing at this, the whole panel, man. I ain't never seen that before. I done seen a panel go in. I done seen them roast. I done seen them straight destroy a person. But the whole panel simultaneously, hysterically laughing. You know it's a joke. You know it's a joke, bro. That's crazy. They whole panel just died laughing at this clown, man. You know he's a clown, man.
Not cutting any waste either, bucko. The country better be watching New York. Mondani's brand of politics could be coming to your doorstep. Socialist fever is now infected Colorado. They haven't come up with a vaccine for that yet. A DSA congressional candidate just defeated a 15-term Democrat incumbent in a primary just a week after Zozo's slate swept the party establishment. I don't know. Take this wherever you would like,
Come on, Roy.
But this budget is an abomination.
It is. And when Mondani came in soon after he was sworn in, he said, look, we really have no choice. The only choice we have to tax the rich in order to pay for all these things. He had multiple choices, which is he could have frozen spending. He could have taken the previous year's budget was $116 billion, left it there.
Not giving himself a raise.
Not giving himself a raise. He could have said, all right, we're just going to keep up with inflation. That would have been $119 billion or so. Even that would have been higher than the $117 billion budget for the entire state of Florida. But instead, what Mondani did is say, okay, let's go all the way up to $126 billion. That's an 8.6% increase in spending. Roughly 3 times the rate of inflation, a big spending spree. And the only reason he's able to get away with this whole thing is that he was able to go to Kathy Hochul, who's terrified, Kathy the Hack Hochul. I think she was afraid that he would endorse somebody to run against her in a primary, knock her out. And so, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to stay on your good side? And she basically gave him $8 billion. He then proceeded not to give any money to the NYPD, not hire 580 new cops, basically raid 4 different municipal pension funds and not put money into the pension funds for those municipal workers. If he did that in the private sector, he'd probably be arrested for malfeasance and for misallocation of funds. And, you know, he's a charismatic guy. He's well-spoken. He's very crafty. I don't know what he's going to do next year when he doesn't have this $8 billion infusion from Albany. But it may look like a victory now. It's not going to last for long. And I think next year when he doesn't have this magic fund come in from Kathy Hochul, he's going to be in really big trouble.
Can we talk about the relationship with state? And Jackie, I think we were kind of hinting on this in the segment we did last hour when we were talking about this. And
I want to back up for a second and dwell on what he just said for a minute. When he don't have that $8 billion, because that's gonna be a deficit now. That's gonna be a deficit now. She just bowed down because she was scared to be primary. You know what I'm saying? So she just bowed down, gave him $8 billion of taxpayers' money. Now that's a deficit on the city. That's a deficit on the city now. So now next year, where's that $8 billion that she just gave? Where's that going to come from? Where's that going to come from? It's going to come from the middle and the lower class. Wake up, people. It's the same thing that's going on in Chicago right now. Most of the stores on the Magnificent Mile got up out of there, shook it, because they let them riot. They let them do all that crap during the George Floyd. So they shook it. They never came back. And now the lower west side, the south side, where all the black people at, all the lower people, where all what's their little favorite saying? The little guys, all of them right now, property taxes double, sometimes triple, quadruple in some places. Look into it.
I think I'm trying to figure out not who's at fault, but how this comes down. So Hochul cowed to him because she was too afraid of being primaried. Hakeem Jeffries eventually said, okay, we support the Democratic Socialists of America, even though I didn't endorse them, because the end, it's a means to the same ending.
We have a big tent.
There's something bigger, right? That like we have different ways, but the end goal looks the same. So I think I'm trying to figure out in the Democrat Party, is it shame on that establishment, the Hakeems, the Kathy Hochuls, for not standing up right now at this moment? Or is it a smart realization that that is the future of the Democrat Party and everyone is shifting that way? And I think I'm trying to figure out within the Democrat Party, I guess, sort of who is in charge. And to me, it seems like Hochul and Hakeem Jeffries are sort of ceding that power and saying, okay, this is the future and the Democrat Party is going to go there. And I'm not sure that means it's good for Republicans, though.
Because they're scared, and there's nobody like John Fetterman.
Okay, that statement. She don't know if it's good for Republicans. We're going to go yes and no. You know what I'm saying? We're going to say no, it's not good for those state Republicans over there in New York because I mean it's never good for them. New York is a Democrat stronghold. So no, but as far as nationally for Republicans, these are wins. These are W's. Nobody on a national level is going to vote for a socialist or a communist. So we're going to go yes and no on that one.
Or even Slotkin now is standing up against this and saying, we're not going to, this does not represent us. Let's not mix this all together. Unfortunately, they're few and far between, but some of these folks are realizing that if they don't get on board with this, they will not continue to hold on to power. And so that's a real problem because it's like a browbeating situation almost, whether or not they actually believe it. Having said that, this taking money from the pension funds, deferring pension fund payments to me is a huge problem. And I agree with you. He should be in jail because, I mean, this is crazy. We were talking about in the break again, Medicaid for
That's
all after we
insane,
were
man.
talking about the Colorado
It's
congressional
crazy.
race and the winner there and her statements that she was making. One of them was Medicare for all and, you know, how you throw granny off a cliff. Pension fund deferral. I mean, people count on this money. That like blew me away. And then he's talking about waste and whatever and not hiring cops. To me, hiring cops is not a waste. All the other things you want to spend money on, like free grocery stores, government housing, free buses are now off the table because even with the expanded budget, he can't manage to muster enough money for that. This is just wild. I mean, we talked about having to live through this so other people can see. This is torture.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he said in the beginning that socialists now understand economics better
Listen
than
up.
capitalists. And I have to tell you that I take real big exception to that. Here's the big problem. You're talking about a man who has never run a business, doesn't understand how to generate any cash flow, managing $126 billion. And we covered Nike earlier, which does like 60 billion or some crazy number in revenue. This is a gentleman that doesn't understand the sources and uses and now has a giant checkbook in front of him, and he's going to ruin it for a lot of people while the city continues to be destroyed. I don't think he understands that the $126 billion is actually generated from capitalism. That's how the money got there.
Yeah.
Facts.
This is defund the police. I saw John Chell earlier, is it John, the former chief of department here in the NYPD? Saw him early this morning. You have so Mondani caved to the socialist who went after him. All the lefties went after him about any addition to the ranks of our police officers. There is natural attrition every year in the NYPD. And so when you do not expand the head count, you are not when you don't give any money for that, you are defunding the police.
Indeed.
And the very fact that around 50 elected officials and advocates, including the local Democrat Socialists of America chapter, gathered around City Hall last Thursday to protest his about face that he was planning to swell the police department ranks by just 580 police officers. And then he caved on that. Ultimately,
He caved. 581 police officers is not even enough police. It's not even enough for what New York need right now. You know what I'm saying? And he caved. He didn't give no money for their budget out of this $8 billion. Welcome to socialism. Rise and grind, rise and grind. What's going on, Patriots? You just locked in the hood politics where we always keep it 100. I'm your host, Jay, man. Y'all already know on this channel, we cut straight through the BS and get straight to the issues and the policies that hit us close to home. We talk about everything from elections to national debates all the way up to political podcasts. We throw some pop culture and comedy in every once in a while because y'all know my motto, baby, all politics all the time. I give you brain rot. That's why I do it so you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Yo, check it out, man. Look, but let's keep it real for a minute, man. Y'all out here hearing all this noise about historic rent freeze, and the media is out here trying to sell you a dream, talking about how they out here finally helping the little guy, right? Right? But if you paying attention or have been paying attention, you already know exactly what's going on. You know what I'm saying? This isn't about helping you, bro. It's not. This is not about helping you. This is the classic socialist playbook, bro. A top-down squeeze that's going to leave the middle class and the lower class holding the bag while the real sharks clear that table and get up out of here. We out here. We gone. You feel me? Y'all not listening, man. How could I put this? How could I put this? Like my boy Anton Daniels say, break it down in a C student's perspective, man. And check it out. Think about it like this. Imagine you got a small neighborhood garden. You know what I mean? You've been working that patch of land for years, putting in your own money for seeds, tools, water. And, you just a little small mom and pop garden. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to grow enough to feed your family and maybe sell a little bit on the side. You know what I'm saying? Put a little money in your pocket, right? Then, you got somebody like Zoran shows up and say, from now on, you can only sell your tomatoes for a nickel, even though the cost of water and fertilizer has doubled. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna cut back on costs. You gonna stop buying that good fertilizer, right? Now all of a sudden that fence with that little patch in it, that ain't so important no more. You feel me? Eventually, your garden turns into a patch of weeds. Now, while that's dying, you feel me? While your garden is dying, the big industrial farming conglomerates, the ones with the massive tractors and the government subsidies, bro, they sitting back waiting, yo. They sitting back waiting. They just waiting for you to go bankrupt. You feel me? Once you bankrupt and forced to sell the land for pennies, they gonna swoop in. The big guys, the big boys, they buy it up, clear out that mess, and turn it into a big, high-tech corporate facility. You feel me? And that's exactly what's happening with these properties. But see, they let them tell it. Let them tell it. They working for you. We get finally working for the working man. You know what I'm saying? Let's be clear about this, bro. Let's be 100% clear. What we seeing in 2026 isn't a new policy. It's a sequel to a movie we already watched in the 1970s, bro. Just with a different title. They swapped the actors, they changed the lighting, but the script is identical, bro. See, back in the 70s, the city tried the same game. They capped the revenue, they ignored the overhead, and told the property owners, hey, y'all got to make that work, man. And what happened? What happened? The maintenance dried up, the boiler stopped humming, the building started looking like they'd been hit by a wrecking ball, not because the landlords were evil, but because you can't pay for a new roof, bro, with an empty wallet. You can't fix a busted pipe with good intentions. It's basic effing math. You see what I'm saying? But these politicians are way too busy playing socialist hero to understand that physics doesn't care about your election promises, bro. Your free health care. Your free daycare for 2-year-olds, bro. Who gonna pay for that? You see what I'm saying? Today in 2026, they doing the exact same thing, just masked behind the idea of rent stabilization, bro. But let's call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a systemic strangulation of the middle class, bro. When they freeze rents while your insurance premiums are up 10%, you know what I'm saying? Your taxes are up. Your water and sewer bills are climbing. And the cost of every screw and nail is through the roof. What do they think is going to happen, bro? What do they think is going to happen? They are force-feeding us a death spiral. Well, they force-feeding y'all a death spiral because I ain't buying it. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the 70s, when the numbers stop adding up and investments stop, the paint starts peeling, the hallways get dark, and eventually the city is left with a bunch of abandoned, rotting shells that used to be thriving homes, bro. You feel me? Y'all better wake up, America. This is not a game. This is not a game, bro. I don't know why people keep thinking that you could just get stuff for free. I don't understand that, man. And the real kick of the part they won't say out loud is that this is a total pocket watching agenda designed to wipe out the little guy, bro. The person that they supposed to be protecting. They know these big corporations have deep enough pockets to sit on an empty building and absorb a loss for a few years. But who don't? Huh? Who don't have that? The mom and pop owners, bro. The guy who trying to pass something down to his kids. He done. And that's exactly what the agenda wants, bro. They want to drive the small business owners out of the game so the massive soulless conglomerates could come in and consolidate everything. It's a wealth transfer, bro, in real time. Oh, how many times and how many people have to keep explaining the exact same thing? Y'all hear the exact same thing from people who actually come from socialist and communist countries, and you don't listen, man. When all you got to do is just look at the scoreboard, bro. It's not just a hunch, man. These people are voting with their feet now. Millionaires and big-time business owners, they sprinting to the exit. We out here. We got to go. They packing up for places like Florida, Texas, Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Places where they can actually run a business without being treated like an enemy of the state, bro. They see the writing on the wall, man. You see what I'm saying? See, they know that when a city decides to stop respecting private property and start treating the middle class like a piggy bank, it's time to move their capital elsewhere, bro. Y'all not listening, man. So who left holding the bag then? Huh? Once they pack it up and jet up out of here, who is left holding the bag, man? The people who couldn't afford to leave. The lower income families and the small time owners who are trapped in these crumbling rent control boxes while the politicians pat themselves on the back for fighting for the people or the little guy. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I want to curse so bad, but I'm trying to keep it family friendly, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, boy, this is the same 1970 collapse just dressed up in 2026 campaign slogans, bro. You know what I'm saying? They taking the community you built, choking it until it can't breathe like George Floyd, and then they standing over the records claiming that they're the ones trying to save it, man. You feel me? When those buildings fall apart and the value of your neighborhood hit rock bottom, don't ask what happened, New York, because you watching it happen in real time as we speak, man. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when I drop a new video. Follow me on TikTok, Hood Politics 5.1. I'm a big troll over there. Y'all love me. This your boy Jay from Hood Politics checking in. And now I'm checking out y'all. Y'all know how we do it. Baby.
I denounce you in the name of Jesus. Every devil gotta flee. You don't have no reason. I'm bold as a lion. I don't fear no evil. Blood Jesus on me. I'm covered. I'm